my computer, I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'd like us to pause to seek guidance. Okay. We will now have reading of the mission statement. To provide, promote, or facilitate municipal services that meet the community needs while preserving, supporting, and enhancing quality of life for all. There are no presentations this evening. So, is there any, sorry, do I have approval of the agenda with any additions or deletions?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The minutes of council, April 23rd, 2012. Do we have approval or amendments?
So moved.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next is business arising from the minutes. Bear River Lighthouse. Yes, Jimmy. I mean, Deputy Warden.
In regards to the letter that we received from Chief Frank Muse,
Yes.
I'd like to see us go forward and try to put an application in, or continue on with the application to try to have the federal government divest the lighthouse to municipality.
Yes, discussion?
Discussion, do you have the signatures yet and all that sort of thing? Because you'll have to fax those in tomorrow.
We started working on this in 2000.
Okay, so you all have it.
This isn't for the municipal heritage
Oh, this is something different?
application, this is divestiture.
Okay.
It's been going on for 10 years.
Oh, well, there, I'm sure you got that done.
Believe that, yeah, that they agreed to do that, and they're doing up a term sale. I sent a copy of the recent conversation that I just had today on that.
Oh, you should have received
I only sent it to the warden and yourself, so I didn't circulate to all of council. Just came in that they're going to do up a tripartite agreement between the federal government, First Nations, and the municipality in terms of conditions, so hopefully we'll get that really soon.
Any further discussion?
I don't know if we need a motion if that's the case, so I'd like to remove my motion.
Okay, is
Sorry.
there a seconder?
Yes.
Agree? Thank you. Okay, the next is the dead marine animals update. You've all saw the letter.
Mm-hmm.
I actually talked to the Minister of Environment and Fisheries, so he has nothing to do with it. He said that if I emailed him the information, he would go and speak on my behalf. Yes. He's like that, he feels it should be buried.
Well, based on the letter that we received too, it looks like the province is going to take ownership. And it's now a matter of having the residents put pressure on the province.
Well,
so we can write also, but
Yeah, but he just asked me if I would send him a copy of the letters, a copy of our letters, and he will go speak on our behalf because he agrees it needs to be buried. So I was going to ask Linda tonight if it's possible for you to round up everything I need so I can send it on to Sterling. Please. Like in a package, so he has it. A copy of all the emails and everything. Yeah, that's what he said, he'd like to have everything and I have got
On my
some people.
responses,
Yeah. If you wouldn't mind. I really appreciate that, thank you. Now, from business arising or old business, Councilor Miro,
No.
Councilor Adams,
No.
Councilor Tudor.
Nothing, yep.
Okay. Deputy Warden McAlpine,
no.
and myself, there is none at this moment. The next is under new business. Proposed boardwalk for Freeport. We received the letter. You all saw the letter. Deputy Warden.
I'd like to move this to our capital budget deliberations.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Would this fit under our capital budget?
It's
This
not
is,
something that we,
this is a grants to organizations, isn't it?
yes.
That's how they see it.
That's how I
Okay.
saw it.
There's
You wanna
also
speak
no-
to it?
There's also, yeah, I can speak to it. Well, I heard you say that, I went, but there's also, I'm gonna be hitting up the province, possibly. And I've been speaking to Dark about it, and they seem to think it's a pretty good spot. I was actually thinking of 2 boardwalks, one for Westport, one for Freeport. By my investigations for Westport, there's some liabilities issues with the Department of Transportation, and so I still have some thinking to do on that. But the one in Freeport is not built up, so the same liability, plus the Department of Transportation doesn't own the land, but a small portion of the land is municipal, and the rest belongs to a man named Dr. McLaughlin, who's fully in support of this. I've also spoken with Roger Roundhouse, who's extremely familiar with the environment in that area, and he says there is some shorebirds, but people do walk through there now, and actually I think that putting in a little boardwalk, you're not allowed off, it would actually benefit that little area.
So, just to be clear, maybe, are they asking the municipality?
I'd like a letter in support of it.
Or is it a community group that is going to build it? Like, I'm not sure.
The village of Freeport had a meeting just a couple days ago, and they sent me a little letter. I have it on my desk, it's only 2 sentences long, saying that they support that. And we were thinking of linking it in with all the trails that are already down on the island. So I would imagine there would be some link, because we are involved with the balancing rock, for example.
Deputy Warden?
Is this something that's being driven by the village commission itself?
No, it was a person thought of it, thought it was a good idea, and then I also mentioned it to the village commission, everyone got excited, everybody thinks it's great.
Yeah, but who is driving it? Because,
It was Diane Titus.
no, but like, is she with the village commission?
No.
Okay, like, a resident can't just apply for grants and applications, like.
No,
directly.
we're not, she's not yet for her, I've been speaking with Dark, and I believe that Dark will be behind it, I'm
So,
hoping.
will Dark be the lead then?
Yes,
Okay, well,
and I was hoping for a letter in support of it too, maybe Dark?
So that's what this is what is being asked for here then, it's just a letter?
Yep,
um,
I have alternate place where we can possibly get some money, and I'm gonna explore that.
Deputy Warden?
I think it's premature for us to make a decision on this until we get more information, because you want to use municipal property.
Yes, so,
And-
exactly.
And you want a letter of support and all that. I think we need to have it go back to Dark, if Dark's gonna take the lead, and let Dark send us a letter of request to use the property and maybe a letter of support. Would that not be appropriate?
That would be appropriate.
Okay, so I'll bring this up at the next meeting with my documentation.
Or you can meet separately with him.
Or, yeah, maybe I'll just drop in, and, okay, that's actually good. I'll do that once.
Okay.
I think in this kind of case, normally what we do is just forward this letter on to Darren and ask them to look into it.
We can also forward this letter as well.
Yeah, do we need a motion for that?
Go on, yes, please.
I would so move that we forward this letter to Darren and ask them to look into it on our behalf.
I second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. And you will make a meeting with him. The next is the youth grant request, Me to We.
Number two.
Skip one.
Oh, I'm sorry, the UNSM resolution. You know that the UNSM resolutions are due, so are we sending any in? Do we have any?
There's one with regard to fisheries, is that the one we had
Yes.
said that we were going to send, but I think
Is that the
UNSM
one
is
on,
already-
is that the one for the lobster fishery?
Yes.
That one there, it's already been discussed at the UNSM board, and it's also, we're really pushing hard to see this be addressed at the FCM. And if we were to take it to the UNSM would just lobby the FCM, where they're a voice for the federal government. So it's already underway.
Okay.
And last week, we had the FDM executives met. They didn't approve taking it forward to the main body at the conference, but what they did do, they said they talked about it at their next meeting, which would be the end of the incoming president and the third vice, who's represents Atlantic Canada, Jim and the Atlantic Caucus representative. They're all lobbying for this to be revisited, so we're hoping to see this is going to be on the agenda for resolutions at the FCM in Saskatoon next week. So I think until after that goes through that course, there really isn't anything more we can do with it on that one issue. And I talked to Minister Belville about this the other night. He sent me some information as well, because our provincial government, all parties have unanimously supported a motion that went to the federal government in support of continuing on with the owner-operator policy. And the minister told me that the province of Quebec and the province of PEI have also sent letters in support of maintaining this. So.
And that includes the fleet separation too?
Yes, owner-operator fleet separation policies. So it is being addressed right now, so I don't know that we would want to have to really do a resolution on it this time, because it'd be kind of redundant.
So good.
So I don't think we have one right now, but we still have a deadline. When is it, the end of June?
June
June
29th.
Yeah, so between now and then, if something comes up, then we can address it.
Okay. Number 3 is the youth grant request, Me to We. Now, when I wasn't sure when I read this, the Me to We program, is it a school program, and if so, can we go through our school policy?
This is under youth grant policy.
Yes,
So
we-
this is how it is being presented.
I can speak to this. We've granted in the past to 2 students that have went in the before, and we have 4, and they have $16,000 to raise, which is an awful lot of money for a couple of tiny islands. But they've been working extremely hard. They were going to send in the grant separately, but they decided to do it together. And I would like to make a motion to $250 for each of them.
No.
How many?
We have a youth grant policy, and we have to follow the policy.
Okay, so what's the
whatever that-
difference?
There's a maximum of.
The
$250.
maximum for a team or a group, I'd have to get out and see, but we could do it to the maximum of the
Yes.
policy.
So maybe I should have gotten them to write separate letters
No.
then.
No, because there's a max for those.
It's for the same, it's for the same
Oh,
family,
okay.
so it wouldn't matter.
So
if
just
it's
move the
separate.
June for the maximum of our policy.
I move that we give them the maximum as according to our policy,
I'll
Youth
second.
policy.
youth grant policy.
Which is correct, I believe.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next is the Municipality of Yarmouth, 2012 Southwest Nova Sea Fest and Wine.
Excuse me.
I have been invited to talk to them. They've also been willing to come up here and talk to us. And then, of course, they were looking to see if we want to give any money. Do we want to refer this into a budget process? I don't see any problem with referring.
Are they asking for a specific amount?
Nope.
No, they are
Just
not.
a preference.
They're just showing the different levels.
I move that we refer it to budget.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Digby Dolphin Swim Team hosting provincials. Again, they have asked for what year. Again, should this be moved to budget process?
I move we refer this to the budget.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded?
Oh, sorry.
Motion carried. Next is the CAO report. And in the CAO report, it has our summer meeting schedule waiting for a decision on. So, she has, I don't mean to talk about you like you're not here, Linda. Linda has June 4th, no meeting, June the 11th, committee of the whole, June 13th, file on policy, June 18th, file on policy, June 25th, council.
Those
July
are-
2nd was no meeting.
Now, just, right now, you're looking at June's schedule.
Yes.
But I was talking about July, not
No,
August.
I know.
Okay.
And I-
But, sorry, but just June 18th, there's an error. The June 18th is not bylaw and policy. It's the night actually that we're having a joint council
Yeah, I was
meeting.
wondering.
Oh,
With
okay.
Claire at 7. So
Yeah.
that,
And that's here.
Yes, that is here.
That's 7.
Yeah, I have joint meeting, then I have bylaw.
yes, because of
That's
the,
7 o'clock.
it would be at
7 to
7
9.
because of council coming from Claire.
Now, last year, we missed one council meeting and did the other council meeting. I believe the council meeting we did not do was August. Am I right? But we did have our committee of the wholes on both months because of business.
No, 1
No,
month
we
we only
skipped one.
had one meeting a month. In July, we just had council, no committee of the whole, and in August, we had committee of the whole and no council.
Oh, so that's how we did it. Oh, so it's the other way around. So how does people feel about that now?
I'm fine with anything.
I put the schedule, you have a copy of the schedule?
I'm fine with it. If we need a council meeting, you can call it.
Yes, we can.
I'm fine with it too. Just takes
Worked okay
time.
last week, so.
Okay, do we need a motion for that? Okay. So the next is the capital, meeting action items update, we're all here, capital special projects. Any questions or concerns on any of those? Then the next is the payables,
And that's-
for March 20.
No, it should be for April.
Oh, okay.
The amount
You
is
know
right,
what?
just the date is
Yeah.
wrong.
I was thinking we were still waiting for year end. Go ahead.
I move the approval of the payables for April 2012 in the amount of $809,963.17.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The unaudited March 31st, 2012 is there. The next is correspondence. Digby Area Board of Trade minutes, environmental goals and sustainability prosperity act review, a COA notice of elimination of core funding to regional development agencies effective May 2013, the Nova Scotia International Ferry Partnership, the NDP rising power rates, the main highway to Quebec, Nova Scotia Community Services Western Regional Housing Authority deficit 2011-2012, the SMRICSP progress report submission, and the New Horizon for Seniors program. Any questions on that correspondence? Yes?
How much extra work is this going to be for you to do the progress report on the ICSP? Seems like every time there's another report that's required. It's almost getting to be a little too much.
It's, the gas tax money, although is very useful, it comes with a lot of additional reporting requirements. And I'm not sure yet, they haven't really sent us out the format for how we're reporting on our progress.
But who's requesting this, the province themselves or the federal government? That's
It's a mixture, isn't it?
I think
Linda?
it's both. It's part of, I think, the agreement that the province has signed with the federal government. But I'm thinking the ICSP itself was a federal government requirement, so the follow-up to it most likely is a federal government requirement as well. But we have capital investment plans and financial information. There's a number of reports. Not to say it's not a good idea to look at the progress that we've been making on our
No, no.
ICSP, but it's just,
Seems like every time you turn around, there's another report required.
it's very sort of over our shoulder, gazing all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns?
Yeah, I will. Speak a little more.
Yes, sir.
The COA notice of elimination of core funding to regional development agencies effective May 2013. That's an issue that's really quite bothersome in the fact that the COA never discussed this with any of its other partners prior to. Nova Scotia is unique compared to the other local provinces in the fact that we had really a true partnership where a third funding took place. That didn't happen in the other provinces. In saying that, I really feel that we should have been notified prior to this announcement that they were going to cut the funding, because I like to think that we were all partners in trying to promote economic development in our communities. And for them to say that they're gonna work on specific project funding and that's it, but there's a lot of good things that the RDA does and works on. And one thing in particular that I feel very strongly about is the RE program, the Business Retention and Expansion Program, which I see being jeopardized somewhat because of this. And I don't know what kind of a model we're going to have now to work with, where we have a third of the funding cut, and where this is going to take us. So I guess, Councilor Merrill, you're sitting on the board for the RDA, and it's going to be quite a struggle in the upcoming year to determine how the RDA is going to actually do its job and what's going to happen financially.
They've been very positive though, coming out in the paper.
Oh yeah, but when
It's
you
still gonna be difficult.
when you lose a third of your money, you're going to be able to offer less. It's not going to be possible to do the same amount of work. And what that impact's going to be on a municipality, it's an unknown right now, but it's something you need to be aware of. And I really, has the board had a chance to meet yet since that announcement?
No, the board hasn't met, but the executive has. We do have a challenging year ahead of us to figure out how to go forward and look at different structures. And like I say, the executive did have a chance to meet and throw out a few ideas, but we got a long road ahead of us.
Yeah. One thing that possibly could happen, and I don't know if it will happen, but I would hope that it's a way that we could maybe try to lobby for better support for RDAs would be, in the past, the federal government's always put a third of the funding in for projects, and we put a third, and the provinces put a third. Where they're pulling their funding for operational expenses and costs, possibly we could ask that they could fund a greater amount of the project capital. So instead of them putting a third in, they could maybe put in 50 or 60% of it. And then if we picked up our portion and the province picked up theirs, at least that might balance it out a little bit easier. I don't know, but that's, I don't want us to do something without talking to the RDA first, but I think that it's something that I'd like to see. Is there any discussion in regards to something like that?
Like I say, it's too soon.
Yeah.
We hasn't actually had a chance to even sink in, to be honest with you, exactly what the effect is going to be and how we can move forward.
If I'm correct, I think the managing director was meeting, I think all the other managing directors of the other RDAs across the province were meeting, I think last week. So they were supposed to come back with some more information.
Just raise it for discussion, more or less, just because it's not something we want to forget about. It'll be something that we're going to have to work with the RDAs on. And I don't know what the impacts are going to be yet, but.
And I assume Councilor Merrill will bring that back to us.
Oh, for sure. Probably you up to
Maybe Deputy Warden McAlpine could write something up about his plan there. I think it sounds like a good one.
I think we should wait till they discuss it with the RDA and
Okay.
let's come up with. I do appreciate Deputy Warden's ideas, and but I think we better let the RDA work on it, come back to us, bring what they are looking at. Then we get, and Councilor Merrill can always bring that suggestion up as well.
So I was just thinking that maybe we could write it out for mentioning it as a suggestion. Just give that.
We've got it.
Yeah.
And
All right.
we are open to suggestions.
Yes, I agree you are, but I mean, I meant it's better for you to bring it than it coming from us.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'd rather you do it on behalf of us, not jump over doors. And I appreciate. Any other? Okay, on saying that, next we have a recommendation from Committee of the Whole, funding of Transport Declared Digby Area Division Pilot, $3,500.
I move that we pay $3,500 to Transport Declare for the purpose of this program.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. There is nothing from the Bylaw and Policy Committee. The next is advisory committees. We will be going to the Digby Source Water Protection Advisory Committee. Councillor Adams.
On May 3rd, there was an open house held at the Digby Fire Hall for all citizens. There were people there from the environment and other areas to show and discuss where we're going and what we're planning to do. And turnout wasn't very good, I'm afraid. That's all I have to report. We haven't met since then.
Okay, thank you very much. The next is the Heritage Advisory Committee. Councilor Miro and Councilor Adams.
We've had no meetings since the last one.
Okay, the next is the Planning Advisory Committee. Warden Gregory, Councilor Adams, Councilor Tudor. We have a recommendation from the Planning Advisory Committee concerning the proposed amendment to redesignate and rezone lands at 206 Flatiron Road, PID 3036465, from highway commercial to urban residential. Council?
I move that we accept the recommendation from Planning Advisory Committee concerning the proposed amendment to redesignate and rezone lands at 206 Flatiron Road, PID 3036465, from highway commercial to urban residential.
Second.
Okay, now discussion.
I remember when we zoned that land back when we first did the planning for Conway, and there was always a feeling that that area might have an opportunity to have an expansion for commercial. Where is that on that road? I don't remember. Is it?
It's
Behind access and
Yeah.
So it's where they put that house on the road?
yes.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next, we need a motion to hold public hearing on June 25th at 6 p.m. concerning this amendment.
I move that we hold a public hearing on June 25th at 6 p.m. concerning the previously discussed amendment.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. We also have the approved minutes of March 20th. Any questions from the PAC? Hearing none. The Police Advisory Committee. Warden Gregory, Councilor Miro, Councilor Adams. We had minutes from January 2012. The minutes held April 17th. Didn't we just approve those last week? Did we have last week?
We met, last time we met was April 17th when we approved the January meeting. So we haven't met since April.
Did we meet last week for that?
Please, no.
Oh, sorry, I was in the PAC.
Yeah.
The other.
I get it, I get
The other-
PAC and that's.
Yeah,
what
the
I'm
other
thinking.
They're both
PAC, exactly.
PACs.
I agree, I
Yeah.
apologize. That's why you're looking at me straight and thinking, where was I last week? I sat there and got a meeting and rushed it. Okay, so our next meeting is not until July. So we will have updates then. The next is the REMO Advisory Committee. Warden Gregory, Deputy Warden McAlpine, we have a meeting upcoming, isn't it July?
I don't think we actually scheduled one.
I thought we discussed
Wait
it.
until
Maybe we'll wait to
some
fall.
information was received back.
Whenever it's due, there was no new updates from REMO.
I don't believe we.
The Western Regional Housing Authority, R. Fitzgerald, that report again is not due until June or July. The Regional Joint Committees, the Airport Working Group, Deputy Warden McAlpine, Councilor Adams, there's nothing new since the last report. Annapolis Digby Economic Development Agency, well, Councilor Randall Amiro, minutes, and the managing director's report May, and we already have
We
heard
already
about
spoke to it,
a color.
about the timing.
Any further things you wanted to bring up, or?
I don't know,
The next is the Bay of Fundy Marine Transportation Association, Warden Gregory. We've got the meeting notes from the meeting of Greg Kerr, April the 11th. We have conference call notes from April 2012. We're looking at going to St. John on June the 12th and meet with some representatives in St. John. We have a conference call tomorrow morning, and I can't really give you any further until we have a conference call. Yes.
Are you going to be making contact with the new mayor of St. John? Is that one of the people that, when you go over there,
But we have our meeting with,
you have to have your contact call meeting first to determine what's going to take place on the 12th?
yes,
Okay.
and who and what, because my problem is the chief news is meeting. So, and I have to think that's important to you too, so it will be discussed tomorrow morning. You know, that's why we'll be to Access Nova Scotia.
We do have a REMO meeting July the 9th at 4:15.
Thank you.
For
I thought it was, and I thought, well, maybe I was wrong. 4:15, yeah, Town Hall.
Town Hall.
Okay. The next is the Digby Annapolis Development Corporation, Deputy Warden McAlpine, Councilor Amiro. The RFP for the sale of the Burns Hill building and the Adida building has been finalized.
We haven't met since the last council meeting.
Okay. The next is the Digby Area Learning Association, Councilor Adams. We have the minutes of March and April, and the executive director's report of April. Do you have anything new to report?
No, they have purchased the Atlantis building at Cornwallis and had a couple of people interested in moving in there and taking part, using it. So they're working on that. And right now, he's very busy because it's the time of year that he has to write all the applications for grants and money, so everything's sort of in limbo until that's done. And I'll discuss later when we go on camera.
Okay. The next is the Digby Area Tourism Association, Councilor Tudor. The data minutes on approved of April 2012 and the Bofax minutes on approved of April 17th and 30th. Is there any questions of the Digby Area Tourism Association? Okay. The next is the Digby Area Recreation Commission. The Digby Area Recreation Commission, something being repeated twice. Councilor Tudor, we have minutes of April 2012, staff reports of May 2012. We are meeting with the staff this coming June, on the third Wednesday in June. We are meeting with our new summer staff to get them acquainted. We are also using the curling part of the club. We're doing things, they are starting with different registrations and helping out with baseball, soccer, that type of thing, with their own associations swimming, and they're helping with the provincials that are going to be taking place here in August, and they're expecting approximately 23,000 people to attend the provincial swimming, which the felt at dark, but you know, the lead is the swimming association, but it's our facility, so we're in the fall. Yes, Deputy Warden.
Has there been any work or any more discussions on a proposed skateboard park for the community?
Yes, there has. They have been talking with a group, and right now that's been in the hands of Mr. Powell and Karen Sunderland. I always want to say Sunderland. They're working, there is working towards it, but it's a slow process because of where they want it to be and where it can be, and, you know, there's a mixture of bylaws and things to look at. But it is slowly going.
So, but it is something they work with?
Yes.
They won't forward with on the
Yes, oh, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, it may not, it's taking time.
Okay. I just like to see the young kids that came and did the presentation
Oh,
be
they,
able to
they-
enjoy it
they're-
before they're too old.
yes, yes.
That's right, well, you can't do it anymore.
They always go down when they're 30.
The sad part of that was, over the weekend, I was talking with a mother, and she was talking about when they were over at the skate park 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And she said, you know, my son was 11, blah, blah, blah. I said, oh, yeah, that's nice. I said, well, how old is he now? Well, he's married and got one child. So it's been a few years coming and going.
That's why I asked the question, because I know that this discussion took place before.
Yeah.
And it's something that came up again.
Yeah.
And if
And,
we're gonna
and
go
what is
forward-
the problem is in working on his location.
That's fine, but if we know that they're working through it, then
Yeah,
I
and
live with
that, and that is what's happening.
All right.
But it's, we're letting staff deal with it.
But is it something that you give reports on when you have your board meeting? Okay.
There hasn't been an update since February, but I will full check
Can you
back
raise
on
it
that.
again?
Oh, yeah,
See
we
where
will,
it is?
because
I'll
it's
write
just
that
been
down.
with budget and things coming up. Yes, you're, all right, David's gonna bring that forward.
Good.
The next is the Digby Harbor Port Association. You have the minutes of March, the minutes of the AGM, and we're meeting now every other month. So we're not meeting again until June. So there's been no meeting. The next is the Digby Library Committee, Deputy Warden McAlpine. There's been no meeting since the last report, but there's been a new staff washroom installed.
Yeah, I'd like to speak on that.
Yes,
I went to the library last week, and I want to put another plug in. It's an adopt a book program. And I went and adopted a book, and when I was there, I toured the facility, saw the new washroom, and they did a very nice job, and it was very simple to do. It was just putting a clothes in the sink in a room, and the staff were quite happy with it, so it worked out well. But as far as adopting a book, if councilors haven't done so, I'd
I
encourage you to.
thought I'm doing mine at Westport, I'm sorry.
That's fine, as long as you do it,
Don't speak more.
it's all the same.
I know, it's just that I thought we'd tell the poor boy. I mean, as the library.
Oh, yes.
The next is the Municipal Fire Association, Councilor Tudor.
Municipal Fire Association, guess who wasn't given an email again? I went and saw Helen, or Mrs. T, and she said her number one thing is to have an email list that's up to date. And it's, I don't even want to think about it anymore. But I found out a few days after, of course, but
Are they gonna send you?
I did find out a little bit, she did tell me about the meeting.
Mhm.
She said it was very good, and the smaller fire departments are still talking, even though I'd told them that may have some troubles with that, coming forward with a possible different solution. But it might have something to do with area rate, so I'm gonna let them come forward with that, and I think that I have a lot of sympathy for that point of view.
Mhm. Deputy Warden.
In regards to the fire department, I've talked to one of the chiefs recently, and it's a new chief, and I'd like to know, I know a few years ago, we bought level 1 modules for training, and which is good.
Yep.
It worked out well. But when the people, whoever in whatever department, but when they become the chiefs, there really is no formal training. And I'd like to know if there's any training available for these chiefs. You know, if we could look at seeing if there's a package or a module to try to assist them in that way. And I'm just throwing that out as an idea because I think there's possibly someone who would appreciate the opportunity to have that ability to have that training. And another thing too, when our deputy CEO mentioned the monies that Weymouth are going to receive from Nova Scotia Power, did you say $500?
No, I said 5,000.
5,000, yeah, because I was talking to the chief from Weymouth also, and he said 5,000. I thought it was only 500.
I just recently also heard that instead of 5,000 over 5 years, so one fire department will get it 1 year, so all of them will be dealt with over 5, that it's going to be 1,000 a year for each fire department for 5 years, so.
Okay, that's good.
Which makes a better PR campaign for Nova Scotia Power than the other. So I'm not sure yet. I don't think any of them have actually received the checks yet.
And speaking with the new fire association, the leader of the fire association, she said that there was some discussion of the higher level training, but she felt that the real issue was the low level training. And she gave the example of a fellow showing up and pulling a beer out of his pocket while he was waiting, like just people having no clue whatsoever, smoking cigarettes while they're going to, lift up the ambulance assist. She says there's just absolute minimum, there's like no training for the low level guys. And that's what she thought was a pressing issue.
Deputy Gordon.
But that all stems from the fact that the leadership has to have the ability to lead and so if they need training to help them in that regard. I think that's where we could help maybe. We already have helped in the past with the level 1 training module.
Yeah.
And so that's already out there. But I'm just throwing that out as an idea that maybe with,
UNSM may have a leadership program that they could use.
right, there may be something out there, but anyways, I'm just thinking that there's possibly ways that we can help assist the departments in that way. So I don't know at what expense, but I mean, it's a,
Well, we'd have to look at it.
We'd have to
and
look at
see
it.
what we can find out.
yeah.
So, do we leave this to our capable CAO? We look at,
Potential training program?
yes,
For fire department?
For the fire chiefs,
Fire
For the
chief?
chiefs,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, there is specific ones.
Yeah,
I'll check with Nova Scotia Power
Excuse me.
Association
Yeah,
first.
there is.
yeah, okay.
They're the coordinating group for any kind of training in the province. If they don't, there's some fire departments that are paid, which could potentially have training, like HRM, for example. We'll prepare a report.
Okay. Industrial Commission, Deputy Warden McAlpine, Councilor Amira. There has been no minutes, and there's been an RFP for the title site selection finalized.
We met last week on finalizing the RFP for the title site selection, and it's in the process of being sent out. That's where we are right now with that.
Okay. The next is the King's Transit Authority, Councilor Miro. We have the April ridership.
And the April ridership, just want to point that out, that 60% increase over last year for April.
Wow.
One thing that I would like to remind council is that last spring, our ridership was in a steep decline. So last year was a very low number, but still a 60% increase year over year is
A lot.
fantastic. And I think a lot of that we can attribute to the fact that the bus is now going downtown. I also think that our promotion in December that led through to increased ridership in January that we know for sure. And then as the downtown run came on, it's just been a lot of promotion for the bus in a short amount of time, and it seems to be paying off in ridership.
And I think when we use it in June, again, for free, that will help a lot as well.
I think we need to keep up the
Yeah.
promotion.
I agree. The next is Bennett, Gordon Gregory. Our next meeting is scheduled for June. And at this time, I would like to bring up that I was talking with Councilor Tudor, or Councilor Tudor was talking with me, and that if we have permission of council, I would take over tourism, and he would take over medic, and I would be the alternate.
Also move that Gordon Gregory sits on tourism committee, and that Councilor Tudor sits on the senior safety, sits on the medic committee.
Should we also bring up toll taxes as well?
No, that will all be under there.
Okay.
with the counselor, with the warden Gregory being the alternate permitted.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I don't vote on this, or do I?
We all- All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. You can never not vote.
Well, I thought it was about me and,
Well, let's vote you too.
Yes.
No, it's now changed.
all right, excellent, thank you so much.
I will give you the meeting date in June. We do not miss. Okay, our next is our senior safety, Counselor Adams, Counselor Tudor.
Our meeting's in 2 days.
Yeah, there's the AGM, May 30th.
Oh,
I won't be able to go.
I'll be attending at 3 o'clock.
okay. The next is Transport Declare, Counselor Miro.
Transport declare meeting was tomorrow night.
Time you carry it. Warden Gregory, Counselor Miro, Counselor Tudor. We have the minutes of April 2012, news articles, letter from Minister John McNamara, read bylaws, and we are meeting on Wednesday at 5:30. So there's no new update until
I
that.
gotta bring up something in camera for that, that was, saw me actually earlier today, and that's what something that I should be in camera.
Okay.
While I was at the office.
Yep.
Hello.
Upper Clements Park. Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a problem with the minutes from the Tideview Terrace. They are the bare necessity, like there's no information at all as to what actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
You read any of our other minutes from other committees and at least you get a feeling about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Not those. They are bare bone. And I would like for you to bring that up and
Yes,
ask
sir.
them to be, have a little more information. There's no use sending them to us really, in a way, because we don't get any information from it.
No,
My problem with it.
I'm putting that in,
And I brought that up before, so
and we will bring it up again.
please,
That's how things change.
thank you.
So very nice.
And I'm hoping that everybody agrees with me because it is a terrible, minute.
No problem.
Good.
He's a staff member, so I'm sure that it can be corrected. The next is the Upper Clements Park Society, Counselor Amiro, and we have the minutes of April 2012.
Yes, we had a meeting, and I just want to forward the information that on June the 14th, the Adventure Park is going to have a grand opening for invited guests only. And on June the 15th, there's going to be an opening for the public.
Do we know what time yet?
I don't, I haven't gotten back to me what time.
You're going to send that to me?
Yeah, as soon as I find it. And then the Adventure Park is going to remain open for Saturday and Sunday, the 16th and 17th. Then it'll close for the following week and reopen on the next weekend for the season. So it's very exciting. I want to ask everybody if they get a chance to get out and have a look at the Adventure Park. I think it's going
If
to
we
be...
get invited.
No, I mean, you can...
Oh, you mean during the summer?
And the 15th is for the general public as well. So, but it's going to be open all summer. It's going
But
to be
I mean,
England.
going to be a huge asset to,
no, I have personally, I hope it's a wonderful success. But if you think I'm going to get on a boat and zip down, not in this world.
oh no, you're allowed to look at it from the
Me
ground.
neither.
I'm not going to be on the zip line either,
I'll be
I was
straight up
hoping
on.
where we take your picture.
but it's going to be a huge asset. To
Oh, I think it is too. I agree with you.
It's really exciting that it's happening. There's a lot of work going into it.
I think you'll have a lot of people going, especially coming in from Halifax and
I think
places.
so too.
Any questions? Next is Waste Check, Deputy Warden Calpine, Warden Gregory. We have the April minutes, the May staff reports, the RRFB audit summary, the draft action plan 2012-2013, the recent chairs minutes, April 2012.
And we met last week, and a lot of the discussion was around the staff reports in regards, especially enforcement officer. And I think the guy's doing a really good job, and it's really made a big difference in the municipality and actually in the whole region. But it's very discouraging and disappointing. He had to lay a charge up here in Conway, or no, not Conway, in Seabrook, just recently. People live
Be careful.
You couldn't live much closer in the general area,
Yeah,
and yet there's a public drop-off right there, and they went through the stuff in the woods. And so they found the stuff, they found identification, so they charged the people. But it's very frustrating when we go through the work we do to try to make it better, and people still don't take advantage of it. I mean, it doesn't cost anything, if it's under 200 kilograms, it doesn't cost them anything to take it to the public drop-off.
Well, something I was asked, which I was gonna call Greg later tonight about was, is anyone allowed to go into a public drop-off with Greg's staff there, and we'll say that I just brought in an old chair? Are they
Yeah.
allowed to pick it back up?
Back
Like-
out of the garbage.
Yeah,
But it's still there and not buried.
that's what I mean. That's what I was asked. And I said,
What, you mean they changed their mind on keeping it?
No, someone else.
Oh, somebody else?
no, they asked me, yeah, we'll say you went in, and you were dropping your stuff off. You don't really care because you're dropping it off, Greg's staff is there. I have to come in behind you. You know, I'm dropping my stuff off. But I just saw what I think is a decent chair. I'm using the chair for an
Yeah, no, I
example.
know.
That's what I want to check with Greg, would they be allowed to have the chair? It would be better than going into the landfill, is what I said, but I said, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe liability issue getting into the dumpster to get it out.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I'd
it
say,
would be in the dumpster?
yeah, well, if it was in the dumpster, I'd say you shouldn't be able to jump in there and then haul it
Oh,
out.
well, no, I wouldn't expect, wasn't thinking of it that way, I was thinking more like,
It could also be reasons why the person actually put it in there that you might not want it.
yeah, but,
So
I
there's-
brought up that there could be mold and things, but I said,
Yeah.
I will call and ask, because I said, I can't give you the answer. And listening to us, we don't really know the answer. I assume the answer's no, but I don't want to say the answer's no until I know the answer's no. Does that make sense?
Speaking for
It
our
depends
dumpster,
if
Mark.
it's still on the truck or in the dumpster, then that would make a big difference. If it's in the dumpster, then I would say no, because those are deep. But if one person talks to another person and it's still on the back of somebody's truck,
It might be something that our people might want to look at, seeing if it's a question they ask of people when it looks like it's something that's reasonable, is if they could consider that, if is there anything wrong with it, at least to touch base with any concerns liability-wise and
because, I
then set
mean-
it aside.
For example, I didn't know this, but like Wendell threw away a dresser the other day, and I asked him why, and he said because the molding attachment was coming off. And I said, well, he put it down the road, it disappeared, but I mean,
somebody else might pick it up.
well, but all I'm saying is, I said to him, well, he said, I put it down the road, and he wanted they could pick it up, and, you know, we've got a few things gone, which is good, that's why we put him there. But all I'm saying is, I would hope, if the garbage guys got it, they could tell by the drawer there was nothing wrong with it, stuff wasn't being picky.
I don't think they take the time and consideration for that.
They're not, they don't have the time or the inclination to set stuff aside that looks good. I mean, they just, if it's to the road, they consider it garbage and it's treated as such.
The
But
dumpster's
that's what I
not-
meant, if it went into the, okay, I understand what you guys are saying. Deputy Warden?
Just gonna finish up the report on the two with Waste Check, and, I wanna, proud to say that Waste Check is the recipient of the Mobius Award again, and, that's coming up, in 2 weeks' time.
June the 5th.
June the 5th in Halifax. I plan on attending that, but, this will be the second time I think we've received it in the last 3 or 4 years.
You're gonna be back in that?
Huh?
You're gonna be back in that?
Yeah. I get in at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, we don't.
Anyway, the award, I think is well received. Our region has got our numbers down to 303 kilograms per person, and our goal is to reach 300 kilograms per person by 2013, and the provincial goal, provincial mandate is to have that number reached by 2015. So we're showing leadership in the province in regards to source separating and getting our diversion numbers down. And that's why I say it's so frustrating when people still throw stuff away because of all the good work that's been done. But, so that's good news. And the last thing is that last week, the regional chairs hosted their meeting, their monthly meeting in Yarmouth. And this is the first time it's ever been down there that I know of. And we had the Minister of Environment attend a dinner, and we had staff from RFB Environment. So the CEO, Bill Ring, was there, and board members from Waste Check were invited to attend the dinner. And we had a fair number of our board members that did attend, so it was good. And I thought that was a good evening. That's
It
it.
was.
It, just in regards to the rail corridor along there, for council's information, we have been asked to host a meeting here this Wednesday by Natural Resources, and also the Bear vs. Sissebu Trail Association are attending, ourselves and our hauler, to discuss that section of the rail corridor and how to gate it and clean it up. So Natural Resources has identified that it is an issue that they want to talk about,
That's wonderful.
and hopefully we'll come out of that Wednesday with an answer on how to not only clean it up, but more importantly, get it gated so that it doesn't continue to be a destination point for people that just don't make it to the public drop.
Okay. Thank you. The next is the Western Counties Regional Library Deputy Warden McAlpine.
There hasn't been a meeting since last council. There's a meeting coming up in June.
Okay. Now we're going to start with council reports. Shall I start with Councilor Romero, please?
We've already went through everything I've attended, but I did want to mention that a couple of weeks ago, can't remember the date, it was on a Friday anyway, the Foodland in Weymouth had their grand opening. They renovated it, it's 350 products to the store, and they had grand opening. I went and talked to the warden, and I went and spoke on behalf of the municipality, congratulating them, thanking them for the commitment to the community. It was very well attended.
Great. So that's nice to hear.
I had the best service in my entire life at a grocery store at Foodland. And now, ever since then, whenever I go fishing back there, I go there, get some chicken, and drinks and chips, and whatever else I need. I'll never spend anywhere else after such wonderful service at that place.
That's nice to hear. Councilor Evans?
On May 6th, I attended the service for the Battle of Atlantic at Cornwallis, representing the warden, and then later Reeve on behalf of the municipality. I already mentioned the water source public meeting, and I also attended the RCMP open house on May 15th, which was very interesting. We saw CAO have her fingerprints.
A lot of pictures were taken.
Yeah.
Nothing came back, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
It's good to
Darn.
go.
And just on another note, I attended or presented the awards at Barton for the Heritage Fair. And one of our students went to the regional fair, came in second overall at the whole fair. And now what they're doing is she went to the provincial, which was last week. She wasn't judged at the provincial, but she had to put in a video presentation of the project. It's going to be judged in Ottawa, and the top 6 will be invited to Ottawa. The voting is going to be open, I think, on tomorrow. So I'm hoping to get the email, and if I do, I will send it out to you. We want to vote for her as many times as we can. It's Meadow Carmen, and she did a thing on the history of quilts. It's an excellent project, and we're really pleased to see someone from our small school going on to represent us at the national. They changed the Heritage Fair. They used to go to a national fair, but now they have this program called Youth Canadians, and they're doing it a bit different. So they each got a video camera at the regional fair, the ones that were at the top, and they had to do it.
Do they get to keep their video camera?
Yeah, it's great.
That's even better. I like that.
Yeah. But it's, I mean, and we had another, we had 6 projects go, and one of the other girls came in 3rd overall for the grade 6s, so I think we should be proud of them.
Yes.
Personally.
Okay, the next is Councilor Tudor.
No, I've had a busy busy few weeks. Starts with some of the funnier stuff. I filled in a ditch. There's a spot that keeps washing out after every time it rains, and it's definitely not big enough to bring down the Department of Transportation for, but there's several old ladies that are very adamant about it. And there was a local young man that I thought could use a little work, so me and him did it together. Cut alders. Once again, I got a phone call, and it's not big enough, I thought, to bother the Department of Transportation, especially since they're doing so many big things down there right now. I cut them myself. There's a baseball program, which I was really happy for Lori Thurber putting together on the islands. I'm just thrilled. There was the lighthouses, did 3 sets of paperwork for that. They're in. The food bank, went door to door yesterday, did Freeport. We have enough food for another month now, yay. Still checking out the swimming pool possibilities. I've been talking to Dark quite a bit about it. He's got some concerns about how deep it is. Told me to grab one of my boxing kids and tell him to go for a swim. Whether or not it goes over his head. I suppose I can wade in there myself. Drove 2 people to the doctor. I got a real nice thank you on the ferry from an elderly gentleman. I set him up with a government program where he's getting an additional $400 a month, and it's made a huge difference in his life. It was kind of funny. I didn't even remember doing it at the time. When he thanked me, I thought he was talking about different grants, and then I just figured it out. 6 culverts coming for Freeport. Pension questions for someone. One person had no garbage pickup for a year. The subcontractor, though, was fantastic, and he even called the complainant himself. The tourist board on Westport, we got that up there, but there's nothing on it. I spoke to the Historical Society. Apparently there was something put together, but it hasn't made it onto the board yet, and I'm going to look into that. What else here? Oh yeah, I was looking into boardwalks for Westport and Freeport. Freeport certainly seems like it's a lot more doable than Westport due to liability issues, amongst other issues. I fixed someone's chimney, pension sort of medical appointment, that sort of thing. Unemployment insurance. Business complaints about unemployment insurance verbally, that people are already not coming down to work at the tourist businesses because it's already very difficult to get people. And these, especially difficult to get someone to come down for $15 an hour and no unemployment. So there's already people moving off of Westport in regards to that. The culverts and ditchings are going along great on Westport. I really have to say the Department of Transportation has been really open to the suggestions of the community. So-and-so here, there, give the directions, and boom, they go right to it. They take it very seriously. I'm very happy about that. Getting a pile of dirt for an elderly lady whose house is being undermined. Salt meetings, they're talking about changing from sand to salt on the islands. They want one in Westport, Freeport, Tiverton. Various dinners and whatnot. And I also want to bring up the wharf in Freeport. As you know, on the Thursday before the long weekend, we got a letter from the federal government, I believe, saying that not only was it condemned, but they were going to sell it. That's a big problem because there's over $100,000 worth of armor rock inside that wharf, and it provides a very important breakwater for erosion. But even more importantly, I don't know how the ferry will even be able to lay against the wharf where it is now without it. I was talking to the Department of Transportation, and they said that they would need $50,000 to decommission it. My preference would be, it's a very valuable wharf, and it's practically vital for lobster season, this season. I just don't know what they would do without it. And I would like to maybe make a motion or something like from here. I spoke earlier with Warden Gregory about this. A motion that this be removed from the auction block and given to the Department of Transportation, or maybe first things first. Ask if we could get it fixed up, and if not possible, decommissioned and the rocks stay there. It's utterly immoral. The tide going through there is madness. I was talking to some of the various people, including the Department of Transportation, and they foresee serious problems with ferries and big problems with erosion, and that being quite expensive because a lot of the roads are right on the edge. And I'm sure maybe there's a big list in Ottawa. Well, these are condemned, it's time to get rid of them, but this has an ancillary, an extra purpose, besides just being a lobster boat. So if we can make a motion to write a letter to Greg Kerr explaining its importance as a fishing wharf, a used and actively used fishing wharf. And if that's not possible, to have it brought to safety codes or whatever, it can't be sold off in the Roxbury. And they're allowed to. I found out that there's nothing stopping the person that buys it from taking all those rocks out of it. There's no, that's what they'll do.
Deputy Warden?
Is it not general practice that if the federal government is going to divest any property, that the province would have the first opportunity to purchase?
Yes.
Well, I would think that if this is the case, the province would want to buy it just for a breakwater, not a wharf, but a breakwater, protect the land for the ferry. So that would be, if a motion was to go to MD Kerr,
Yep.
I think you'd want to also CC your MLA on that.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I also would like to not take off the table having it fixed up and used as a lobstering wharf, which it was. And then even after it was condemned, it was they actually moved the rocks off that they put up to stop traffic, filled the wharf up with lobster traps because there's simply nowhere else to put them. So that's a problem. You would have to get the riot squad down there to get those guys off that wharf because there was no other option for it. Simply, and I would like to have it stated in the letter that the greatly preferred option is that it be funded.
The community's option is.
Yeah.
So are you making a motion?
Yes, I move that we write a letter to Greg Kerr, CC it to our local MLA, and in that letter state the importance of the wharf for the local lobstering industry, and that it's no exaggeration to call it vital, of vital importance, and and above all, it can't be decommissioned. Can't be decommissioned in the rocks removed. It has to go to the Department of Transportation if that is the second option. So I don't know if I worded that very well.
What you're asking is that we write a letter to Greg Kerr explaining about the situation at the wharf,
And that's
and that so there are some options we would like to be looked at.
Yes. Would you mind?
Is that agreeing?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Is there a seconder to that motion?
I'll second
Any discussion?
that. I'd like to speak to one point, is that I think the letter should state that it's valuable to the lobster fishery, but vital as breakwater.
Yes.
I don't think you want to get mixed up. If you say it's vital as a lobster fishery, then they can look at it and say, no, it isn't.
Yeah.
And there goes your argument, right? So I think we want to say it's valuable to that, yes, but it's vital as breakwater.
I just, if there's any chance at all of having it fixed up for the use of the local fishing fleet, it would certainly, I would like to go on that angle, and I don't want to give them a little side door.
Okay, we understand. That's definitely where to speak next.
I'd like to see also if you would talk to the village commission and get them to do a letter also, because I think it'd be important if they also
Yes.
submitted a letter.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded, motion carried. Any further that you want to say to us, David?
Oh, that's enough. How's that?
All right, Deputy Warden McAlpine.
I'll be real quick. I won't go into the details, but since the last council meeting, I attended regional meetings in Southwest, down in Yarmouth, and a regional meeting in Bridgewater on the 25th, Progress Awards in Dartmouth on the 25th, CALCO Forum in Halifax on the 26th and 27th, May 2nd and 3rd Advocacy Days in Halifax, May 4th Town Staff Force meeting, and then I also had a meeting with Minister Parker and Minister Mackinell in regards to the LED lighting. I attended on the 6th nice to see that there's somebody in the area that's teaching them, and it was probably, I think, 10 girls there that night, and they did a very nice job. Then on the 9th to the 11th, I attended the spring workshop for the UNSM in Truro, and on the 17th, I attended the Sea Cadets Awards up in Cornwallis. They had it was their 69th annual ceremonial review, and it was very nice to attend. They had awards given out to the cadets, and but what was also nice is the reviewing party that was there. There was one person that Ken Aliski, he used to live in Digby, and he received. It's the first time I've seen it this year so far, but he received the Queen's Jubilee Medal for his all his efforts and the volunteer time that he put into the Navy League of Canada. So that was really special too. And, but that was well attended, and I think there again, the cadets I think offers a really good program for the youth of the area. So that's it.
Okay. I went to the Digby Source Water Protection Advisory Committee. I was expecting more of a talk than going from booth to booth. And therefore I was disappointed in it. I thought it was good that we were able to go around and discuss, but I sort of thought we'd get a little overhead beforehand, that was all. I attended the Heritage and Diversity event at the Digby High School, and that has been well received. They had two performances. I also attended the UNSM spring workshop in Truro. I felt there were some interesting topics that were said there. I attended Lorna and Aiden's Mullins' 50th wedding anniversary. I attended the memorial service of Charles Percy and the memorial service of Maurice's mother, which is difficult things to attend sometimes. And I just want to say that I also attended the Board of Trade meeting on May 17th. And those minutes were included. I also attended the meeting in Yarmouth with Waste Check with the regional chairs. I got to sit with Minister Sterling, and we did a lot of talking. I had him captured for an hour and 20 minutes, and that's why I think he's going to help. If you anything, he's going to get away, I'm sure. Then he had to deal with Jimmy, so I mean, he went from one fine person to the next. From there, we had a sports day at dark on the weekend, just to let everyone know that. Also, I have been getting calls on the EI, especially since it's at the paper, and I've read from what our Premier, Gerald Dexter, said, and I really feel that we need to write a letter to Greg Kirk stating that there is concerns coming out of this municipality, right, left, and center. I am not only hearing from fishermen, I am hearing from people that are doing seasonal work. They are worried sick, what's going to happen to them, how are they going to go. A lot have said to me, Linda, maybe we should have went and leave the county and try to find, but they said, we want to stay home. We want to stay here. This is our lives. And the jobs are seasonal. Like, for example, I actually had, and it surprised me, 2 people that worked at the Mink 340, the 340 Mink Co-op, and they were saying, excellent job, they really like their job, but there's some months that they can't work, so they work quite often. Again, a large concern because of this EI, because of the fallback on what's going to happen to us in Nova Scotia. Well, they're really concerned about Digby. I mean, let's be honest.
I agree with you 100%. It's really one thing. we don't have any jobs around here, per se, like, so, and I agree, like, I don't like what they're doing with the program either, but there isn't a lot of jobs around here, so even if they go on EI and they wanted to stay in their field of work, there isn't other work to go to. You're not just gonna be able to go to a store and get a job, because those jobs aren't even there. So,
No, but the ones that are saying like they work, for example, to the Pines,
yeah,
they know they have a job at the Pines from May to October.
right.
They have that job. If there's nobody to go there to work, we're gonna be in a bigger problem in our areas. And I mean, like I said, I've had it, and I was surprised, like, people know it's not municipal. I mean, I've been told that, but they said, what are we going to do? And I think they have fair concerns, and I said, the only thing I know we can do right now as a council is to write there's grave concerns in our community, and Greg Kerr is a representative of the government.
And I
Who's
support,
in power?
I support writing the letter as well. My only comment was that
Yes.
we don't have jobs around here. And
We
when you-
need more jobs, but the
Yeah.
people that are working seasonal, let's keep them here anyway. We need people.
Oh, no.
I read a statistic recently that said for every job opening in Nova Scotia, there's 7 employees. So it's not like there's thousands of jobs at McDonald's for all these fishermen and fish plant workers and cooks to go to. They're just the numbers just aren't there. And in my district, being particularly rural and isolated, it can be very difficult to find employees, especially still employee like a sous chef or something along those. And it's going to be a real blow to those businesses that are open and are employing people. So far, the main people I've heard complaining about this has been business owners. Like, what? They want me, well, how am I going to find people? I have a heck of a time finding them now. And there's 2 people leaving Westport because of it immediately. And they're people that aren't physically able to, throw around a 100-pound lobster trap on a heaving boat, so winter work is sort of out of the question for them, but they can certainly, take bookings and work at a desk and it's not, and a lot of the people there, I know a lot of people think, oh, that fella makes tons of money and then he goes on UI. Well, that's not my experience. My experience for a lot of people is that they make $15 an hour or whatever the minimum wage is, and then the unemployment. The people that, as far as I can tell in my area, that being victimized are those at the very bottom of the economic scale, which is all too common.
Okay, could someone make a motion?
I'll make a motion to write a letter.
And is there a second or to write?
I'd second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
All
Uh,
Contrary minded, motion carries. The next thing I also had to bring up is Paula Curry is trying to come up, she has 2 signs. One that's going to Shelburne and another one that's going to here. Now this is on aquaculture signage and about the area. It's a tourism sign. Anyway, they're not sure that they can get the look off as they were hoping for. So she was asking if council had any ideas, so I could email her, of where we could put a sign. Any suggestions? Like, she's trying to go through the Department of Transportation as well, but she wants to benefit the community with good signage. Nice, big 4x8 sign,
What's it gonna have on it?
It's gonna have stuff about aquaculture and different community, parts of the community. And let's see if I can find.
Do I have a copy of this letter?
No,
Did you send me a copy of it?
no.
Wait, no.
Just a minute. It says, I was just given information, the Atlantic Fish Farmers Association just provided me with an image of the actual tourism information signs that are made up from both Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. Each panel is 3x4, sorry. There's a French and English version, and they are ready for installation. Of course, I'll send you this. I was given the choice of where Nova Scotia possible sites could be. Obviously, my first choice was Digby and Shelburne. I was thinking of the Annapolis Basin Lookoff, which would be perfect. You can see it from the tip of the farm site from there, and it's a safe fenced-off area for people to pull into. And then blah, 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 am I the right? I said no, it's transportation. I spoke to Linda, and we did some there's different messages back and forth. Yes.
The only place that I can think of that they possibly would be still gonna have to get a permit from the Department of Transportation.
I got a spot too.
Okay.
The wharf on Westport, right next to where the piles of feces are washing up on the shore. That might be a good little spot for them.
Okay.
Yeah, and putting the stink through half the community. That might be a good spot for them to put that to say how wonderful it is.
Okay. Any other ideas from anyone else? Okay, well, I will send her back that, then you still go on. But yes, I will send you a copy of the letter.
Thank you. I guess I might be doing it,
Well, remember,
but tease me off.
that's the letter to me. Just so you know that.
Oh, I'm not gonna talk to it.
So you can reply, why don't you reply with me, CC?
I won't.
Okay, and that was what I had to bring up. I have been dealing with some concerns from different individuals in the community, which I'm trying to see what we can do and deal with. So, is there any other business before we go in camera? At this time, we'll take a 5-minute recess, and we'll be going in camera to talk about contractual matters.